what we're going to be doing is looking for macroinvertebrates. Can somebody who wasn't here yesterday tell me what an invertebrate is? Yes?
Animal without a backbone?
Without a backbone. Invertebrate means without a backbone. Somebody tell me what the opposite of that is. Yes? A vertebrate. What's an example of a vertebrate? A duck. Yeah, it has a backbone. What else?
A dog.
You. Right. Or a dog. Right. They all have backbones. So they are vertebrates. We're not looking for those things. They tend to be a little bit... We're looking for invertebrates. And not only invertebrates, we're looking for macroinvertebrates. Now macro is the opposite of micro. Can somebody tell me what micro means?
Unable to be seen with the naked eye.
Perfect. That's the best answer. Yes. You can't see it with your eye. You have to use a microscope. Good. So the opposite of that, which we're looking for today, is what, Josh?
It's bigger.
It's bigger. A macroinvertebrate, which means you can see it with your eye. Good. So we're going to look for macroinvertebrates. So put that together and tell me in your own words what that means. Macroinvertebrate.
Physical creature with no backbone.
A visible creature with no backbone. That's awesome. Yeah. Very good, Kyle. Thank you. Yes, so that's what we're looking for. So are we looking for fish? No. We know they're out there, right? Yeah, but we're not going to be catching those. They're kind of sensitive. We're going to be looking for bugs, right? Smaller things. Yeah. And some of those things have an external skeleton and called an exoskeleton. What's something that's an exoskeleton?
They have a skeleton on the outside.
Yes. What's one of those things we've seen out here that has one of those?
Crawdad.
A crawdad. Very good. What's another name for that? Crawdads, crawfish, mud bugs. Yeah. We know those are out there, right? And that's good, but we're not going to be catching them, right? They don't feel too good when they bite, do they? They pinch you. No. So we're going to leave those there. We're going to be looking for the other stuff. So things we're going to be looking for are larvae of things and little worms and leeches and things like that. And most of these are found in the benthic community. Does anybody know what benthic means? Benthic means it's touching the bottom. Okay? If it's touching the bottom of that creek or the lake or the ocean, anywhere in the bottom of a water body is called benthic. So we're looking for the benthic creatures, the ones that are touching the bottom. And they're easy to find because all we have to do...
I don't want to find a leech. I've got it on.
You don't have to touch any of them, okay? I promise. What we're going to do is go out here after we're done talking and pick up rocks and look at the bottom. And if you see a benthic macroinvertebrate, you can bring it up here to one of these buckets and swish it off in there, and the bug should fall off in that water. Okay? Is that good? Why on earth would we want to look for bugs in the water? Yes.
Depending on what species you have in the water, it can determine the health and like how good your lake is.
That is perfect. Yes. Because if there's a whole bunch of chemicals and trash, and all together we call that what? Litter. And what else do we call it? Contaminants. Something starts with P. Pollution. Yeah, if there's a bunch of pollution, can very many organisms live out there? No, and only certain organisms can live out there, okay? Some organisms are very, very sensitive to toxins in the water, and they can't live out there even if there's a tiny little bit of pollution in the water. Does that make sense? So what I have at the end, we're going to look at our critters, whatever we find in our buckets, and decide which level they're in. Some of them are very, very sensitive to pollution. Some of them are somewhat sensitive, and some of them are very, very tolerant to pollution. They can live pretty much anywhere. We're going to look at all of our bugs and figure out which category they're in to determine what our water quality is. Now, guys, keep in mind that they're very, very small. Most of these organisms are a ½ an inch long or shorter. So look really closely. Now, see the bugs on here? See this? That is an egg. It's like fish eggs. You see that?
Yeah,
Isn't that cool? I don't know if they're fish or they're frogs. Little tiny things.
That one. Well, how do you put them in?
What do you got, honey? This one. Oh, good. Swish it off in that bucket. I think that's a land critter, isn't it? We probably need to put him back on the land. Let's see.
You want to use
bucket to the...
I found a water penny.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Stick it in here.
I found 2.
Yeah, that's good.
Honestly.
This one on this too.
Oh, I smashed it.
Now, what does it say about a mayfly nymph on your paper? It's sensitive. What does that mean?
It can't live with much pollution.
That's good. It can't live where there's very much pollution. So what does that tell us about this water?
It's good.
It's good. There's not very much pollution. Did we find a lot of those? We've got 3 mayfly nymphs in each bucket. That tells me that there's lots of them out there, right? So could there be lots and lots of mayfly nymphs if this were polluted water? No. So that tells me our water quality is pretty good. Now, somebody tell me something else that's in your bucket.
Sky. I put one sky.
Okay. That's not on our list, though, is it? Yeah, it is. Okay. And they're in what category?
Somewhat.
Somewhat sensitive. Good. So they're in the middle. What else is in your bucket?
Leashes.
Leeches? Where are they?
Tolerant.
Tolerant. They can live anywhere. They can live where there's no pollution, or they can live where there's lots of pollution. What else? Worms. Yes. What are they? Tolerant. Anything else?
Snails.
Okay, the snails are in a different one. Okay, now I've got a paper that has snails on it. Can you see your paper? Okay, now what kind is yours? Group 1. This is group 1 that are very sensitive. This is group 2 that are in the middle. This is group 3 that are very tolerant. What kind do you have?
This. That. Oh, I didn't see that.
So that's
Tolerant.
tolerant. Good. You guys have one?
I do.
What kind is yours? You go put this one. Yeah. So that would be very tolerant, right? So there could be lots of pollution. Now on those with the points, they're a little harder to tell. Does that one have a point?
Yes.
Okay. Now flip it over where the hole is up. Now is the hole on this side? Put it down on the paper where it matches that one. Yeah, the hole's on the same side, right? So that's in group 3. So that means it is
It broke and the snail.
tolerant. Good. What about yours? Flip it over. Upside down.
I think there's another one.
Is it on the same side? Just like this. See how this matches it? Okay. So on the same side? So that is what group?
3.
Okay. And what kind of snail is that?